This is the most powerful and profound thing you can do on your spiritual journey. Doing this will absolutely change your life. Avoiding this, not doing it, can have detrimental effects on your life, can definitely affect you negatively. It can stunt your progress, can stunt your spiritual growth. It can lead to extreme self-sabotage and can even inflate your spiritual ego and lead you down a pretty dangerous path. It is that powerful and that important. And it, of course, is shadow work. Ready? Let's go. Hi, I'm Delfina, sometimes known as Shethemystic. I'm a healer, spiritual teacher, cosmic intuitive, and soul awakening guide. In this video, I'll tell you exactly what shadow work is, what the shadow is, why it's so crucial to do shadow work on your spiritual journey. It might be the most important thing you do on your spiritual journey. And I will give you a powerful, profound 3-step shadow work practice to get you started, something that you can do right after watching this video. In my 20 plus years of spiritual study and development, this is something I keep coming back to again and again and again. It is a must for everyone, and I firmly believe that if everyone in the world did shadow work, we would have no war, we would have no issues, corruption, disbalance of power. That would all cease to exist. This world would become a loving, beautiful, compassionate, joyful place. It's that powerful. This is not just wishful thinking either. I've seen shadow work do wonders for people I've worked with. In the past 10 years, I've seen people's lives transformed by really committing to their shadow work practice. So first, what is shadow work? Shadow work is the process of uncovering, processing, and healing and accepting all of the parts of you that you've hidden away, that you deem unacceptable, that you're ashamed of, things that frighten you about yourself, the things that you wish weren't true, all that stuff that you're afraid if people found out they wouldn't love you or accept you anymore. It's all the things that you've stuffed deep inside and you hide away from the world. And what is the shadow? The shadow is the space, the energetic space that holds all of your trauma, all of your pain, your fears, your burdens, your heartbreaks, but also your dreams. We have an individual shadow and we have a collective shadow as a species, as a people. The shadow is the place that holds your secrets and your secret desires. It sounds like a place of pain and darkness, and it sounds kind of scary, and it can be. But it also is that metaphysical closet that holds the keys to your hopes and dreams. And that's part of the reason we do shadow work. We unlock that closet and we transmute that pain into power. And as long as all that stuff sits in there and remains hidden, it will always drag you down. It will always get in the way of your authentic self-expression, your success, and your spiritual evolution. The shadow is actually what drives a lot of the ego behaviors because it's this self-protection mechanism. It's protecting itself from the prospect of eventually being found out. How was the shadow formed? The way we're raised, no matter what culture you're from, most of us were raised to conform to some specific society, and we were told that we have to behave a certain way, we have to be a certain way. And a lot of the time, what we were taught and shown and told to be didn't really align with our inner truth. But you're told by authority figures that that's how you're supposed to be. So already it starts in early childhood where you start thinking there's something wrong with you because you're not how you're supposed to be. It creates this disconnect between your core truth and what you present to the world. And that core truth, the essence of who you are, becomes fractured off and becomes hidden in the shadow in order for you to be accepted by those around you. Furthermore, when a child is shamed by parents, caregivers, friends, those parts that are made fun of, that are called out to be bad, shameful, inappropriate, those parts of you fracture off and go into the shadow. If you suffered any kind of abuse, especially as a child, the experience of that happening is so difficult to comprehend and accept, especially if it's being done by someone you trust. That creates a big disconnect, and that part of you goes into the shadow, hidden deep, deep, deep. So by the time you're an adult, you have this storage container, this metaphorical storage container of trauma and shame and pain and abuse and misunderstandings and parts of you that you wish weren't there, but they are, and then parts that you wish you could release and they won't come out, and it all lives in the shadow. That's that energetic space. That's what the shadow is. So why is it important to do shadow work? Well, first of all, the deeper you go on your spiritual journey, the more important doing shadow work becomes, especially if you want to step into being of service in the world, step deeper into your purpose. But even if not, just for your everyday life, the things that exist in your shadow, if they're left untreated, unseen, unhealed, they make you vulnerable. They make you vulnerable to manipulation, to acting out. The shadow is the storehouse of pain and blame, but it also is this treasure trove where the most profound and powerful magic can be found. And the experiences of your everyday life are actually the keys to unlocking this magic and for you to be able to churn this pain into power. Doing shadow work is how you transmute the experiences that were negative and awful into unlocking those superpowers that you have. And the experiences of your everyday life are constantly pointing you in the direction of shadow work, of uncovering that shadow. And by doing shadow work, by looking and uncovering and doing the healing, you become a divine alchemist and you start to truly turn that pain into power. You start to truly transform and become almost superhuman. So to use an example of why it's important to do shadow work, I just talked about growing up and having these negative experiences and potentially experiencing abuse. And all of that going into the shadow. When that happens, it creates this sort of template. It creates this energetic signature. The more abuse you experience, the more it reinforces that signature. As a child, and then when you grow up, everything that's similar to that experience gets placed onto that energetic template. Like attracts like. And so you know that saying, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. If your shadow is filled with those experiences and that energetic signature, that is what you will attract. So of course, on a conscious level, you don't consciously want to attract a partner who's abusive or who's awful to you. But what happens is you inadvertently end up attracting that. And sometimes you'll notice that people have a pattern of attracting a similar partner over and over and over and over again. And this repeating pattern is why we do shadow work. That's the way to break the pattern. You'll notice that unless this pattern is broken, you will tend to create these same experiences again. Not willingly, not consciously, not wanting to create that, but that energetic signature is there, so it'll attract to you people who behave in crappy ways towards you. And it doesn't always have to be partners. It could be friends or your parents, it could be teachers or bosses. It basically is like a pendulum swing that continues until you stop it by doing shadow work. And that's why doing shadow work is so important. So how do we do shadow work? I'm gonna give you this simple 3-step process, and I promise if you do this, it's gonna change your life. The first step is to just acknowledge that this exists within you and to be okay with it. To be okay with saying that, to be okay with accepting that, and to tell yourself that from this point forward, there will be no self-blame, there will be no self-shame around these issues. And you need to give yourself permission to go there and to look inside, go deep, and open up these wounds. Give yourself permission to finally uncover this band-aid and allow that healing process to begin. And it's as simple as doing this with me right now. Place your hand on your heart and repeat after me. We're gonna do this together. Take a deep breath and repeat after me. I am ready and willing to look into my shadow and to truly see what is there. I promise to view it with eyes of love and to suspend my judgment. I promise to have love and compassion for myself. Okay, that's step 1. And remember, when you say these things, you have to really mean it. Diving deep is not easy, I know, but I promise you it is absolutely worth it. Now, step 2, after you've done this portal opening declaration exercise, you're gonna go to a mirror and you're going to look at yourself. You're gonna look yourself in the eyes and spend a few minutes simply observing and see what comes up. Allow whatever needs to emerge to come up. Don't direct it, don't judge it, don't force it, simply allow. Spend at least 5 minutes looking at yourself, looking at your eyes, observing yourself in the mirror. Since you've done the portal opening exercise, things will begin to float to the surface. Allow all of it. And the third step is to grab a notebook or your phone notes app and start writing down whatever came up. No matter how silly or trivial or deep or painful or sad, whatever came through, write it down, jot it down, make note of how you felt, what you heard, what you saw, what you experienced. You're gonna do this daily for the next 7 days. You don't have to spend a ton of time on it. 10, 15 minutes every single day done consistently is going to create a breakthrough, is going to be life-changing for you. And this is only the beginning. I have so much to share with you when it comes to shadow work. I'm thinking of doing a series on shadow work here. Let me know if you're interested in that below and I will do it. And in the meantime, watch this next video.